Do you think all crimes should have the same punishment, regardless of the circumstances? Why or why not? It's really hard to say because just like uh, the law and justice system around the world, every case every case have at least an exception. So um, I don't think that every cases should be treated uh, equally, because here's the thing, right? You have to look at the history of the perpetrator, the circumstances that the case took place, and a lot more things to come up with a fit punishment, right? Because sometimes even if the case is real, it can be justifiable if the victim actually deserve that. The justice system is just too strict and too what should I say, like too machinery to bring true justice to both side in the case. So yeah, but honestly, to me, I say that all the cases should be considered, and that it cannot be the same punishment cannot be applied to all the cases, to all the circumstances. How do you feel about the legal system in your country? Is it fair? Not really though. In my country, Vietnam, there are a lot of loopholes in the law and everything, and the it's certainly that in the legal history of Vietnam there has been many uh, controversial cases that it's just um, really weird, and it doesn't bring true justice to the people. And on top of that, a lot a lot of times it's kind of in play in favor of people who are in a higher ground, who have the higher ground, who are in a more who are have bigger status, like rich people and corporation, which just add to that uh, deteriorating legal system that we are having right now. So no, it's not really fair. Do you believe that people are becoming more or less respectful of the law? Why? I think I think in the present day, people are becoming less concerned and less obedient to the law, not just in any specific country, but in the whole world as a whole. Because at least in my opinion, people are thinking that they have a way more freedom and way more power than they actually have, especially with the rise of like uh, social media, and some was just really delusional. I mean, if you take a look at like Twitter or TikTok, it is not uh, a like it's not rare to see some people who are so entitled that they are willing to do things that are as broad as they like illegal to begin with. And like it's also one of the main factors. And another thing is that I just feel like nowadays everyone is become less and less trustful. Like they don't have enough trust in the government and in the ruler, and that distrustful, that resentment toward the government, either because the thing that the government did, or how effective they are at like resolving people's problem, that may become distant and resent toward the government, hence making them a lot less a lot less respectful toward the law. Describe a law you disagree with. Let's just skip it at the moment. Alright, never mind. I think I got something. So, one of the law that has been widely debated around the world is the punishment for criminal with mental illness and mental problem. So to put all the laws regarding this subject in the nutshell, it's basically that criminals, either who commit felonies or pay crime, can be considered to lower their sentences and get proper treatment if they were be found to have certain mental illnesses and problems such as uh, depression, uh, bipolar, multiple identity disorder, so stuff like that, right? It was introduced, I think, pretty fairly recently, maybe like around the two world war, I think, because that's when like a lot of people get shell shock and PTSD, and so they all become more aware of the mental instability of this perpetrator. While it is good, like for a lot of cases, it is good that people who have this invisible disability in visibly, they are not visibly disabled, but they are internally disabled, right? And I think it's a good thing that they have rights, and they have some they gain proper help and support and treatment. However, uh, it doesn't it doesn't save me from the fact that it have a lot of loopholes, right? So the first thing is that a lot of people can fake their mental illnesses. Like killers and people who like commit violent crime, especially. Their lawyers can uh, you know they all can make the argue that they have certain kind of like uh, mental illness to lower their sentences or outright dismiss the cases, which uh, which is something that it doesn't bring justice to the victim and the victim family, right? And that's my main problem, is that people are abusing this as a getaway ticket to their crime. And so it's become very, and honestly, it's very hard to determine if this person actually have problems like they say or not. And a lot of case, as I say, get get dismissed, get like lower because of those things. So what I think can be done is that, well, I don't really sure because I never go to the court or watch much things regarding like lawsuit or court exercise or something like that. But at least to me, I think that they they should have they have to have um, records and history regarding those problem in order to uh, actually use them as concrete evidence in a cases in a lawsuit, for example, right? In any cases, so that it's kind of ensure that the people who are making this claim actually have the problem and are actually uh, people who have these illnesses, which can hope to act as a deterrent to criminals and their lawyers who are trying to make a claim in order to help them hinder their crime. So that's about it. What are the main causes of crime in the modern society? I think it's mainly the disparity between rich and poor people, and also their life circumstances. But the disparity is still the main causes because uh, you know when you're poor, you cannot sustain your life. You can't even get money because when like homeless people, for example, they don't have proper like resume, they don't have all the fancy skill, they don't go to proper school. How are they supposed to do a job, right? So a lot of them result in petty crime or um, heavier like heavier um, crime, I guess, to help them out, which result in a lot of unfortunate cases. So there's that. Do you think harsher punishment will reduce crime rate? Why or why not? Absolutely. I think one of the most famous case is in a country named El Salvador. I don't think that's the name, but yeah, El Salvador in the Middle America. Uh, uh, I don't know, like Middle East America, something that around those area, and they are famous because the government, um, you know, they get the president entirely get rid of organized crime and gang like all the gang activities by first of all dismiss the rule of uh, warrant search with warrant and like so basically that the police can just come in your house even if you don't want to in order to properly catch up this criminal and they don't get like sentence. There's no way to rescue them. The most dangerous one will be put in a highly secure prison for the rest of their life, while people with lesser crime will be put in prison with a pretty heavy sentences. And this is what I think that a lot of places in the world should do. Like Vietnam is a possibilities, and like Mexico, for example, and Cuba, where the gang members and all that stuff is really destroying the whole country inside out, right? So when you have this harsh streak, might be pretty inhumane and somewhat somewhat like in the border of becoming a dictatorship is actually a necessary thing, to combat evil. You need to be evil in terms to fight fire with fire. So that's what I'm want to say, right? Is that this harsher punishment not only act as a deterrent, a strong deterrent, but it also can help to completely separate these individuals to the whole society to keep the order, to keep the society's order and functionality. So yeah. Should the death penalty be abolished or reinstated? Provide reasons for your answers. I don't think that it should be completely deleted, just because that uh, not only that it will bring justice to the victim uh, and the victim family, but it's also help to cut costs for the government, because right now, as far as I concern, in the countries around the world, people they are spending a pretty significant amount on the security of prison and to sustain all the prisoners, right? So to have this completely diabolical members of society to the grave, it will greatly reduce the strain, the financial strain on the government, so that they can use the money for greater purposes, and but also help to clean the world. We don't need this kind of deplorable people around, roaming around, and or live any further day. Some might deserve life sentences, but for the most part, I think we should just put a bullet in the head and call it a day. So yeah. Do you believe that surveillance and monitoring by the government are justified to prevent crime? Why or why not? Is a really, really difficult questions, but I would say that the benefits outweigh the drawbacks, right? Because like by the use of CCTV, I think the camera, right, it's helped to solve a lot of cases that otherwise, like in the past, would be considered unsolvable. Now, there are a lot of way criminals can bypass this system, but I believe that having them is still better, because I mean, at the end of the day, they are visual evidence, and they can serve as a pretty good concrete evidence to for any cases. So uh, but also there can be a possible um, like scenario where the government or you abusing this system to monitor the citizens, which is something that should take into consider. However, I say that it's justified because it helped to put so many cases to the light with the help of this surveillance and monitoring system. So yeah. How does the media influence public perception of crime and law enforcement? It's really interesting because um, they harm like it's give either a fantasized view on these matters, or it's provide people with a greater awareness. For example, uh, I remember one of the most famous cases in the 21st century, George Floyd, who were who were killed by the police who are racist. So like what I'm trying to say is that because of how famous his case is, it helped people to not only be aware of the current situation of law enforcement and the legal system as a whole, but it also help in a way that it will force people to, like the government and the enforcers, to bear themselves and to improve the justice system. However, the downside should also be studied, especially because of the of a such the media have such big influence on people mindset. For example, I think that influencers and the pop culture really at the moment it's kind of somewhat fantasized crime, especially killing and other deplorable stuff, like Jeffrey Dahmer, or the special like cases of Jeffrey Dahmer getting spread all over the internet. Uh, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, who are not good in any means, right? But the how the media portrayed these people and how they led the audience to believe in the kind of act, like giving reasons, having the backstory, making edits of these people in order to paint them in a better color. Not really, but like more a sympathetic, empathetic colors. This make people think that these are, at least like ill, mentally ill or weak-minded people. It led them to believe that this sort of action is okay and it's considered bad. It's considered uh, cool or something that they should embrace, right? Which only make worse consequences in the future. So that's about it.